Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eternal Spring. Paul Throt, and I am here in Roma Norte, Mexico
Yay.
City, with my wife Stephanie, as always. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
So this is the big one. As we discussed in a previous video, we've had a longstanding issue in our apartment here related to the water pressure, temperature changes, temperature fluctuations, um, especially when we were taking showers.
Yeah, it's been since we moved in. So I've spent well over a year now working with our building manager and the building developers trying to fix the problem. Not just when we're here, which is when it bothers us the most, but when we're back in the US to try to make sure that we have it fixed. After multiple times, the building manager contacted us back in April and said that they had removed a bird's nest from the water heater exhaust hose that vents outdoors. He sent us a video and the water was running in all the sinks and all the showers at full speed. He said it was hot and the temperature was not fluctuating.
Yeah, and obviously we're a little bit dubious of that, but we figured we'd find out for sure the next time we came back. Unfortunately, there have been some developments between then and now. So friends of friends contacted us a couple of months ago, I guess, and asked us if they could stay here in this apartment for 3 nights in late June, which would be about 1 week before we plan to come back. They're going to La Paz. They had to fly through Mexico City. They thought, what the heck, we can check out the city. And, our apartment wasn't really ready for other people. We left it, kind of messy and, for us, I guess. But we agreed to let them stay here. We sent them the keys. We made a nice little document about the apartment in the area. And we kind of hoped it would all, work out great, which it did, right?
Not exactly. So they arrived last Thursday night and I got a text from them asking how to turn the lights on. And I found that to be a little bit of a weird request because they kind of turn on the way we all know how to turn lights on normally.
Right.
So I asked them to check the breaker box and they said that was fine. The building had power, the neighborhood had power. So I looked at the account online for our electric bill, which I pay automatically every 2 months. And I discovered that for some reason, our most recent payment never processed properly. And no one said anything to us about it, but the power company had turned the power off literally that day.
Yeah, incredible. So it must have been a really expensive bill.
Yeah, $15.
Yeah.
And for $15, they sent somebody out to our building and took the meter off of the outside of the building. So these two people were stuck in the dark in our apartment with no power, and they couldn't even have hot water because the water heater runs from electricity.
Yep. So we're home texting them, freaking out. And how did we get this one fixed?
Well, I contacted the building manager to see if he could help us. And because our Spanish isn't really good enough to make these kinds of calls ourselves. So he contacted the electric company for me and said that they would have the power turned on the next day. Long story short, back and forth the next day. That didn't happen. So the electric company finally showed up on Saturday afternoon, 2 days later, put the meter back on the building and turned the power back on.
Yeah. So it's obviously the end of the story. It wasn't ideal, but it wasn't the end of the story. That couple contacted us again, and now they can't figure out how to get the hot water to come on.
Right. So I contacted the apartment manager again, and he had a technician come out to check the hot water heater, but that didn't happen until those two guys had left, which is terrible. They were here for 2 days with no power, and then the whole time they were here for 3 days, they didn't have any hot water. We want people to be able to enjoy our apartment, and this is not what we wanted for the first time we had other people stay there when we were not there. I mean, I just felt terrible. They were super gracious about it, really kind, but I felt awful.
Yeah, no, they were great. And man, I mean, it's just awful what we did there or what happened to them. So the technician did arrive. He came a day late. Great. Everything, I guess, happens late. So he did something. We got a little bill for this trip, but he thought that the power outage maybe had damaged the water heater. I had asked for someone to look at the exhaust hose because of that problem with the bird nest before. But apparently nobody did, because when we arrived this past Thursday, first thing I did was open the laundry room, look up at the exhaust hose, and what I could see is bits of bird's nest off to the side, not where the hose was, but off to the side. So I got up on a chair, yanked the hose out of the wall, and discovered a bird's nest that went back over a foot into this vent, completely blocking it again.
Yeah, that nest had clearly been there for a long time.
Yeah.
So we cleaned that out and we tested the water again.
Yeah, so it must have worked fine that time.
Well, no, still not fixed. Actually,
Right.
that the water's worse at this point. There
Right.
was no hot water, and the pressure fluctuation was worse than it had ever been. So I turned the temperature up on the water heater, thinking that that might help, and I ran the water in the kitchen sink. It never got hot at all. So the next morning, I contacted the building manager again, and he said that there was still an issue with the water pressure and that somebody was going to come later that day. I told him about the bird's nest and that maybe that had fixed the pressure issue.
Yeah. But as it turns out, we didn't need that technician. You ended up solving this problem on your own.
Yeah, I thought about it and it kind of occurred to me that the pressure fluctuation was so bad, it was worse than it had ever been, and that maybe that meant something was turned off. So I went back into that little room and I looked at the water heater and I saw a bright red valve there that was obviously related to the hot water. And I thought maybe that was turned off, and it was. So I turned it all the way open and then I ran the water in the hot water in the kitchen sink and it came on normally. And then I checked one of the showers and that was also normal. It didn't fluctuate and the water stayed nice and hot.
Yeah. I mean, we'll never know why that valve was off, but what I do know is that I took my first normal shower here yesterday and it was amazing. So um, we still need to cover that exhaust vent and prevent the birds from coming back. Clearly, they're just going to keep coming back. So we have some ideas about that. We'll try to figure that out and we'll follow up with what we do. But for now, I'm just happy we finally have working water. We can take showers like normal people.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of showers.
Yes. So there you go. I guess 2 steps forward and 1 step back is still progress technically, but it feels weird. I'm glad it's fixed. I feel bad about those guys.
I know, I do too.
Yeah.
Timing didn't
So
really work out.
yeah, it was bad timing. So we'll be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye.